Hey everyone, it's Justin with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about The Mandalorian Season 2, and I have a few friends here to talk about with me, Ashleigh and Jacob. Thanks so much for being here. So let's just jump right into it. So The Mandalorian Season 2 on Disney Plus. We can just get started with what we thought about overall. Did you guys like it, dislike it overall?
I give it a thumbs up for me for sure. I think that they really moved the story in a more consistent plot-driven direction while still maintaining a lot of the, I don't know, sort of Western feel
Yeah.
and
I think they definitely left off on season 1 with a high point that was ready to go into lore, and this wasn't going to be just some show of a Mandalorian. It was going to get into it, and it left us with a lot of hype, and I think they definitely met our hype.
Yeah, I think I would give it a thumbs up as well, and I think season 2 like appropriately escalated. So like season 1 was like very self-contained,
Mhm.
just dealt with mostly the original characters, and then I think season 2 did a good job of like contextualizing it to the greater Star Wars universe while still keeping that, like, I don't know what the word, spirit of season 1 that season 1 had.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So in the beginning of the first, episode 1 of season 2, the Mandalorian goes to Tatooine, and he meets Cobb Vanth, who I think is from a novel,
Mhm.
and he's got Boba Fett's armor, and the only way that the Mandalorian can get it from him is if he helps the him and the town defeat this crate dragon that's been like preying on the town.
Yeah, because he was looking for one of his own kind, so other
Yeah.
Mandalorians, and then he takes his helmet off. He's like, I've never met a real Mandalorian. He's like, you shouldn't have that armor. And so they make a deal. Instead of killing each other, he's like, well, help me do this and I'll just give it to you.
Mhm.
So, of
I
course, he
think,
says yes because he is a nice guy.
yep. I think the casting for Cobb Vanth was absolutely inspired. I mean, Timothy
Mhm.
Oliphant has done great work in the sort of Western genre, and to have him as this sheriff with Boba Fett's armor is just awesome.
I think it was so appropriate.
Yeah, and it's like a good use of fan service. It is being fan servicey by, you got Boba Fett and you got Tatooine, but it's still like telling like a self-contained story within that.
Hmm.
Right, and the fan service isn't just kind of thrown in there. It's part of the actual plot, and it's necessary, especially as we see Mando develop. Right, the Mandalorian Din Djarin that we see at the end is very different than the guy
Right.
we see at this episode, and this is actually almost a character establishing episode for him.
For sure. And we see a little bit of growth in season 1, and then we see it continue into season 2, which
Hmm.
is really nice to see them have that fluidity.
Hmm.
Yeah, so we get they're trying to defeat the Great Dragon, and there's a kind of like a training montage sort of, and they team up with the Sand People. I actually quite like how the Mandalorian doesn't totally, because especially like all the connections to like the parallels to like indigenous people, how they're sort of like kind of like humanizes the Sand People.
Hmm.
Makes you feel a little bit awkward about episode 2.
Yeah.
Anakin, like, hmm, they were just kind of doing sign language off in the distance, and then you
Right.
see a blue flash. But I think it was a really good way to sort of make the grayer edges of the Star Wars universe
Mhm.
a little bit more fleshed out.
I think that's a fan favorite of the Star Wars universe is to see that gray area.
Mhm.
Because in real life, there's a gray area, and it makes it more realistic for us. So it's not just like, oh, we're just watching a movie or just watching a show. It helps you get into it more.
Yeah, so there's not much else plot wise that happens in episode one. I mean, they defeat the Great Dragon, and they get all that meat, um, from the Great
They get the
Dragon.
pearl.
Oh
And
yeah.
I
giant
love the reference to
pearl.
the pearl. Yeah.
Yes.
And then Mando gets the armor, and then we see Boba Fett at the end of it. Like no helmet, obviously, because Mando's got the helmet. He just sort of turns. Yeah, it was a good reveal. I think.
I think something we saw at the very beginning of the episode, already showing his character growing, was just immediately like, oh, the droids are fine. Let them do their thing.
Yeah.
Because in the previous season, it was no droids. Obviously, IG changed that, but it's good to see that actual development in a character
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah, it feels like almost this season there are development elements that are focused on, just like how last season there was this one big one of the droid. He goes from no droids to some droids are okay, so he's a little bit less anti-droid racist.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about episode 1?
Go to episode 2. I think that the main part of episode 1 was just like, hello, we're still here. Characters already developing. This is what we're doing in this season, is looking for Mandalorian. So it establishes what's going forward, what he's trying to do, and that he is still growing, doing his thing.
Thanks so much for watching. I'm trying to get these reviews out as fast as possible. So my next video will either be the episode 2 review or the review for the New Year's Doctor Who special, Revolution of the Daleks. And I'll be with Liam for that one. If you like this video, please consider subscribing. And if you really like Star Wars, you can check out my interview of Jacob, who was with us for this review, who did his thesis on Star Wars and kind of its connection to American history. Thanks again for watching. I hope to see you next time. Stay Shway.